The point of this video is to talk about the different libraries. What we do with our libraries is we create a centralized repository for all of our assets so that we can easily create content into those repositories, and then we can easily distribute content from those repositories. So in our standards library, we have, for example, our grade and our subjects and our domains over here, and then here's our standards. Right? These are Common Core literacy standards for language arts. And it's from these standards that we can go into the other library. So this is the standards library, which is inside our GEC curriculum library. You can have more than one curriculum library. And also the course library is inside the curriculum library. So we build our standards and we go into our courses here, and then the standards are associated with these courses and these lessons and the problems in the lessons. But I'm going to show you a special system now where not only are we associating the lessons with the standards, but from within the lesson we can reach out to another web portal called DataBlock, and DataBlock has an AI process in it which will create our lessons for us on the fly. So let me show you DataBlock. So here's the DataBlock platform. And if I log into here, we can find a service in here called it's the AI demo service. So basically what we're doing in this service, we have these nodes, and in this node right here we're actually creating the lesson material. This is the lesson name, main point 1, main point 2, main point 3. We're getting this all from GEC. It's coming into DataBlock through this API endpoint. This is a gateway node, and it's inside these gateway nodes that we access an AI service from an outside website. So GEC is accessing DataBlock here. We're creating the lesson body here, the introduction here, the conclusion here, and then we're joining everything together. We're creating discussion questions, and then we're also creating the distractor answers for all the question and answer sets in the lesson. So that happens over here. Let me show you that process in brief, and then we'll take a look at what the output is on the other side. So we are looking at a lesson generation environment here, and you'll see that I can choose the domains, and those domains go back to our standards library, and then they tie into DataBlock, so DataBlock can create the lesson. So it takes about 3 to 5 minutes for an entire lesson to be completed, but here are all 5 pages that have been created through AI. We have all the main points, all the supporting details, the questions, the paragraphs, the distractor answers, and the discussion questions. And once I have that, I can actually click this button and generate that entire lesson. Once that's done, then it should appear. Yep, there it is. And if we look into it, this is the lesson that was created. And we can look at page 2, we can look at page 3, and we can look at page 4. And yep, the whole thing's been created. The result in the curriculum builder, we have these lessons up here. I'm just going to search for tectonic plates. We can filter this either by choosing the main lesson, which we just created the main. Then we have version 1, which is the A1. Then we have the A2 version, the B1, and the B2 version. So DataBlock created the master, and then DataBlock also will create all 4 versions of the lesson. And we really don't use the master with the students, but we save it because it's the main reference point from the original. So let's look inside the ebook and see what we get. These are all AI generated images. Here are the discussion questions. Here is the A1 version, the A2 version, the B1, which should be longer text and harder, and the B2, which is longer text and more difficult. Now at the same time, also all of the vocabulary words are generated. Everything's created in the system, and also the problems. Here there's, I think, 90 problems that are created because each one of these lessons has 6 language versions. So all the assets are saved here in this central repository. Every asset for this lesson. These are actually coming from a different repository. These generated words are coming from our image library. Altogether, we end up with 100% AI generated lesson that is based on our standards body. And now finally, if we ever have any issue with this lesson, let me show you what I mean by that. If we ever discover any learning friction, all we have to do is come back to the standards, and we have to adjust those standards. And once the standards are adjusted, then we regenerate, and it's a way to automatically heal any learning friction that we find in the program.